All right, look at this snapping turtle. This is down in like a little bayou. We're down in Louisiana right now. Look at that thing. I don't know if it's a camp or what the heck it is. But it was pretty cool. We thought we'd better stop and shoot some photos and video of it. Getting close to winter, and it's time to get a little bit of maintenance done on the van. One of the things I like to do is change out my wiper blades and then do a little bit of rust preventative. And right now I'm going to go ahead and change these blades out. Well, the first step you got to do, these are pretty easy to change out, and with these you have to squeeze, press in on the end of the cap anyway. That loosens this up, and then all you do is slide the blade off. And you can see that it has a little bit of a bayonet up here, and you just reverse the steps when you go to put a new one on. Slide it back down over, slide the blade up there, I'll put the cap back on, and then I'll give a little tug just to make sure it's seated in there. Well, as you just saw, it's super simple to change out these bayonet style wiper blades, and mine were long overdue. These were the original blades that came with the van, and I just got so involved in my build process that I hadn't changed them out. But I did notice that even with a excellent pair of Bosch blades that was originally installed on here, I was just starting to get a little bit of streaking, and I figured today was a little bit mild out. Might be a good day to change them out, so I did. The blades that came with the van, those are the ones that I took off. They were Bosch, and those are usually very, very good blades, and they've done a really good job. I just changed them out to this brand. Never heard of them before. Figure I'd give them a try, and we'll see how they do. One of the other things I like to do, for winter preparation is to hit the areas of the underside of my vehicles, the frame and other metal parts that are subject to getting coated with rust or salt. Up here in upstate New York, they've switched from rock salt to a salt brine solution, which is essentially a super heavy dose of salt water, and it just leaves an absolute mess on your vehicles. And I think it's worse than the rock salt that they used to use. But one of the things that I did that I looked at when I bought my van, and one of the things that prompted me to buy my van was the fact that it was undercoated and rust proofed when the first owner bought it, and I want to keep right on top of that. I've noticed a couple areas where there's some surface rust, so I want to take care of those areas of surface rust before they get worse. And when I bought my Jeep, I had very little to no rust on the underside, and the first thing I did was to buy fluid film, and I bought what is considered, I guess, regular fluid film. It's the brown stuff. It's a wool wax, and it smells like cow poop, to be honest with you, but it does a great job. It forms a nice barrier on any of the rusted surfaces by neutralizing the rust. But this time I decided to get the black fluid film. The other stuff is like a caramel brown color. I don't know what the difference is between the two, other than the black makes the metal portions of your frame and underside black in color and makes them look like they're brand new. This kit does include a trigger to go on the top of the cans, and it also includes a long straw that allows you to reach into real tight areas or into the small holes of the frame so you can coat the inside of those. The fluid film itself, like I said, it's black in color, I don't know what the difference is. Maybe some of you know and can let me know in the comments, but that's what I'm going to try. I don't have too many areas on the van, fortunately. Maybe a little bit more on the bottom of my Jeep, only because it gets driven more in the winter. Let's take a look at this. Well, that's pretty cool. At least it's nice and large, so it's easy to grip. I mean, pretty simple in design. I mean, you just squeeze the handle and it essentially pushes down on the top of the nozzle just like you normally would. But can't hurt to give it a try. And this thing, which is not going to come out of the bag. Oh, maybe it will. Okay, there we go. Okay, this attaches to the top of the can and allows you to just push down on it. And you've got the long straw here with a little nozzle on the end, and that will be good for spraying in. I see it's got openings on the sides, so that's good for reaching into some small holes that you have normally on your the frame, and that will allow the fluid film to spray all over the inside. I like that idea. I see each of the cans comes with a typical small straw anyway, but I do like that longer straw. Seems to be a little bit more flexible because it is long. So if you really need to get into those tight places on the frame or around other parts, I think that would be the way to go. And let's see, I usually carry a tarp. Yep, here it is. I usually carry this with me in case I have to lay on the ground and do a repair or something. This is perfect to lay down on. We did get a little bit of rain over the last couple days, so this will be good to lay on instead of getting all wet. I usually give it a pretty good shake up. Get everything all mixed inside before I spray it. Well, I had to use two hands to put this handle on here. That thing snapped down really tight. I think a lot of it's because last night it got a little chilly and this was sitting in my van, so this plastic wasn't as flexible as it probably would be if it was a little bit warmer out. But we'll give it a try and see how well this trigger works. And you can see I've got some small areas just like this that really needs to be hit. This is just surface rust, so let's get it coated before winter gets here. I don't know if you can pick it up on the video or not, but you can see the bubbling that occurs just as soon as the fluid film hits the rust area. It starts to neutralize the rust. It actually looks really good all the way down my frame. I'm just going to check around, slide around on the tarp a bit, and just continue hitting these little areas as I go. Okay, here's my opinion on this trigger. I like it and I don't like it. Mostly don't like it. It's very easy to grab onto. I would imagine if it wasn't so cold last night and the plastic being so stiff, it would slide on to the neck a lot easier because you don't snap it on the top. You slide it from the back to the front. But the problem is it really narrows the swath of the spray. And you probably noticed that when I was spraying, it just came out in a little bit of a stream, whereas when you just press the nozzle down normally, like a can of spray paint, it ends up covering a wider area. And you can see right there, you know, where it was all building up inside because it's hitting on the inside of this cap that they've got on top. So I'm not going to be using that after this. And also, it kind of defeated the purpose because I still ended up having to use rubber gloves. I keep a box of these right here at the back of the van in case I, need to grab something quick and keep the crap off my hands. And in this case, I end up with little black dots still all over my hands, so it defeated the purpose. I'm not using it again, but the van is coated, and now it's time to do the Jeep. Wow, that was a close call. That little bugger coming out from the side of the road. I'm glad I saw it and it saw me, and we both put on our brakes. Well, I wanted to make one last trip here to my special day use area that my son, his girlfriend, and I came up to during the summer. And it is Veterans Day today, and I just want to thank all of you who are my subscribers, who are veterans. I want to thank you for your service, and I want to thank all the veterans for your service, because we have the freedoms that we have because of the sacrifices made from others and from the veterans who were lucky enough to make it home to their families. I apologize for the wind. If you're gonna pick this up in the video, it is very, very blustery and very cold. Yesterday, we ended up having our first wet snowfall. And of course, as usual, people don't know how to drive when the weather is nice. And it's even worse when you get a little bit of snow on the ground. They lose all touch of reality and still think they can drive like maniacs. So there was nothing but accidents all over. Typical first snowfall day. But I do want to point out that 3 short days ago, it was mild enough. If you remember earlier in my video, mild enough to where I installed new wiper blades on my van, and I undercoated the frame and other areas with the I can't even talk. My face is numb from the cold. And I had applied fluid film to the frame and other areas of the underside of my van. My son called up and said, "Hey Dad," he said, "what are you doing today?" And I told him what I did. He says, "Well, we still have a few hours daylight left. Why don't you come on down? You take one side of your Jeep, I'll take the other side, and we'll apply fluid film to the frame, and we'll knock that out real quick." So I said, sure, and headed down. And sure enough, we laid on the ground and got that all knocked out. And for some reason, I decided to fill the gaping hole in the dash of my Jeep. You see, when I bought it in 2021, it had an aftermarket stereo that the previous owner placed in there. 2 weeks after I bought it, it died. So I put a nice Kenwood double DIN receiver in it because it had all the modern features that I was looking for. Gorgeous stereo. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Did everything I wanted it to. And unfortunately, if you're familiar with Jeeps, my son's JK Wrangler and mine both have what's called freedom panels. And for those of you that don't know, freedom panels are combined to form the front part of the roof of the Jeep. And there's a hard top or a soft top that makes up the back part of the Jeep. Both of ours have hard tops. Well, only one time did I remove the freedom panels. That was one time enough to cause them to leak. The water on the next rainstorm leaked down into my dash, trickled down right into that new Kenwood stereo, shorted the crap right out of it. So I pulled it out, and there's been this big gaping hole there. Well, I had another one kicking around, a brand new one, and I was surprised. The size of that one, the replacement, that was super thin, and I'm thinking, what in the heck is this thing gonna do? I didn't have much hope for it at all, but I was very surprised. My son and I installed it, and it worked right off the bat, and it actually has a lot of features I like, a lot better than the new Kenwood that the same kind what I had in my Jeep that I bought and put into my van. So we got a lot done, and that was 3 days ago. And then in the interim, yesterday, temperatures plummeted and we saw the white stuff falling. And that was the reason why you've got to take every opportunity that you can up here in the Adirondacks. There were some areas further north, up around Lake Placid, that really got a lot of snow. Up here, as you can look around as I have been walking, and you don't see any snow on the ground. Yet you can go in other areas and everything is white. But that's fine. I just think it's a little earlier than what we're typically used to getting, and I could do without it. But anyway, I'm glad I came down in here and checked this road out while nobody else is up here. And Jay and Melissa will be watching, I'm sure, and they're going to say, yeah, that's where we want to go next year, because I do too. And we have a great time up here. You've seen all these tree stumps I pointed out in one other video. There was a tornado that came through here, and yes, we do get them. And believe it or not, I don't know how many trees were taken down, but the power company that owns this land, they closed it, I think, for the entire season a couple years ago when that came through. And all these trees, the stumps that you see, the trees were taken down by the storm. They had to be cut up and cleared, and there's actually a huge pile in the woods. In fact, some of it is right here, but then I've seen some larger piles around too. Nasty stuff, that weather. We just get all sorts of stuff up here. But anyway, I wanted to give out a big shout, a big thank you to all the veterans with this being Veterans Day. And I wanted to let you know that you know, I tried to get as much done as I can when the weather is good, and this is the reason why. You just never know when it's going to turn up here, and all of a sudden temperatures drop and you can't do a thing outside. So with that being said, I'm freezing. I'm going to go back in my van and I'm going to head back to warmer places. So thank you all for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and I will catch you later.